Donald Trump has just finished delivering his speech to the United Nations. Take a look at him here. He looked terrible. It was easily one of the strongest and most disastrous speech I have ever seen him give, or honestly, that anyone has given, and that saying something fast Trump could not even make it up the escalator because it stopped just as he approached. Then, right before his speech, the teleprompter went down. Whoever was behind all that, hats off to you. Now, take a look at what happened with the escalator. Roll the clip.
We're going to push Zelensky for peace, President Trump.
President Trump. Schumer.
Right. So then during Donald Trump's speech, he actually says, and this is real. Donald J. Trump, a real estate developer, wanted to develop this very land. Absolutely unbelievable. It was downright embarrassing. Just watch how it play out. This really happened. Go ahead and roll the clip.
Many years ago, a very successful real estate developer in New York, known as Donald J. Trump, I bid on the renovation and rebuilding of this very United Nations complex. I remember it so well. I said at the time that I would do it for $500 million, rebuilding everything. It would be beautiful. I used to talk about, I'm going to give you marble floors. They're going to give you terrazzo. I'm going to give you the best of everything. You're going to have mahogany walls. They're going to give you plastic. But they decided to go in another direction, which was much more expensive at the time, and which actually produced a far inferior.
Now here's the moment when the teleprompter stopped working right at the start. Take a look, roll the clip.
And I don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter, because the teleprompter is not working. I feel very happy to be up here with you, nevertheless, and that way you speak more from the heart.
Then Donald Trump looks out at all the representatives from the United Nations and says, you are all destroying your countries. Your countries are going to hell. Unreal. Here, watch this clip.
We have reasserted that America belongs to the American people, and I encourage all countries to take their own stand in defense of their citizens as well. You have to do that because I see it. I'm not mentioning names. I see it, and I can call every single one of them out. You're destroying your countries. They're being destroyed. Europe is in serious trouble. They've been invaded by a force of illegal aliens like nobody's ever seen before. Illegal aliens are pouring into Europe. Nobody is ever, and nobody's doing anything to change it, to get them out. It's not sustainable. And because they choose to be politically correct, they're doing just absolutely nothing about it.
Yes, several foreign dignitaries have been openly saying this was one of the most embarrassing moments they have witnessed. They are asking, they are asking how people in the United States not humiliated by the most of us are. Then, in the typical fashion, Donald Trump dives into the fantasy version of reality, using his UN speech to attack former President Biden. He saying things like, we have rapidly reversed the economic calamity we inherited. Grocery prices are down. Inflation is down. We are in golden age in the United States. Thanks to me. Completely delusional and entirely false. The representatives from the other countries were visibly stunned like, is this guy actually serious? Watch this clip.
This is indeed the golden age of America. We are rapidly reversing the economic calamity we inherited from the previous administration, including ruinous price increases and record-setting inflation. Inflation like we've never had before. Under my leadership, energy costs are down, gasoline prices are down, grocery prices are down, mortgage rates are down, and inflation has been defeated. The only thing that's up is the stock market, which just hit a record high.
Then Donald Trump shifts gear and starts attacking London, saying, I hate the mayor of the London. Completely unprovoked. Watch this clip.
And I have to say, I look at London where you have a terrible mayor, terrible, terrible mayor. And it's been so changed, so changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law. But you're in a different country. You can't do that.
Then Donald Trump starts talking about the US military targeting fishing boats off the coast of Venezuela. And he actually jokes about it. He says there are too many boats in the area and now they do not want to go back. Meanwhile, he is posting videos on social media that responsible ISIS style propaganda showing violent attacks that clearly violates the international law and go against everything the United Nations stand for. He is literally mocking and the killing of people on fishing boats. Here, watch this clip.
To protect our citizens, I've also designated multiple savage drug cartels as far as tech. And you see this, and you see it happening right before your eyes. Let's put it this way. People don't like taking big loads of drugs in boats anymore. There aren't too many boats that are traveling on the seas by Venezuela. They tend not to want to travel very quickly anymore. And we've virtually stopped drugs coming into our country by sea. We call them the water drugs. They kill hundreds of thousands of people.
Then Donald Trump goes after Brazil saying, I am sorry to say this, but Brazil is doing terribly and it's only going to get worse. He also attacked Brazil judicial system. Meanwhile, the US have been farmers are watching Brazil take most of their business from China and other markets. But hey, Donald, keep going. Play this clip.
And so I'm very sorry to say this, that Brazil is doing poorly and will continue to do poorly. They can only do well when they're working with us. Without us, they will fail, just as others have failed. It's true. Next year, the United States will celebrate.
Then Donald Trump goes on to repeat the false claim that he stopped 7 wars. He takes credit for ending the conflicts in Congo. Even though fighting is still ongoing there, he also falsely said he ended the war between the India and Pakistan, which is not true. Then he demanded recognition, saying nobody has stopped as many wars as me. All I got from the United Nations, who did not help me, was a broken teleprompter and a broken escalator. Here, watch this clip.
No president or prime minister, and for that matter, no other country has ever done anything close to that. And I did it in just 7 months. It's never happened before. There's never been anything like that. I'm very honored to have done it. It's too bad that I had to do these things instead of the United Nations doing them. And sadly, in all cases, the United Nations did not even try to help in any of them. I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen. But she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood. And then a teleprompter that didn't work.
Oh, and now he is back to attacking Brazil even more. Check out this clip.
Is sustainable into the future. We're also using tariffs to defend our sovereignty and security throughout the world, including against nations that have taken advantage of former U.S. administrations for decades, including the most corrupt, incompetent administration in history, the sleepy Joe Biden administration. Brazil now faces major tariffs in response to its unprecedented efforts to interfere in the rights and freedoms of our American citizens and others, with censorship, repression, weaponization, judicial corruption, and targeting of political critics in the United States. I have a little problem saying this because I must tell you, I was walking in and the leader of Brazil was walking out. We saw him and I saw him, he saw me, and we embraced. And then I'm saying, can you believe I'm going to be saying this in just 2 minutes? But we actually agreed that we would meet next week. We didn't have much time to talk, like about 20 seconds. They were in retrospect, I'm glad I waited because this thing didn't work out too well. But we did talk. We had a good talk, and we agreed to meet next week, if that's of interest. But he seemed like a very nice man, actually. He liked me, I liked him. But if you, and I only do business with.
Then Donald Trump shifts to renewable energy, which he dismisses as a green scam. He says, "You should listen to me. I predict everything correctly. You are all involved in green scene and you need to stop." I throw out the speech. He keeps praising himself, insisting that he is right about everything. Here's watch this clip.
Chance for success. If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail. And I'm really good at predicting things, you know. They actually said during the campaign, they had a hat, the best-selling hat. Trump was right about everything. And I don't say that in a braggadocious way, but it's true. I've been right about everything. And I'm telling you that if you don't get away from the green energy scam, your country is going to fail. And if you don't stop people that you've never seen before, that you have nothing in common with, your country is going to fail. I'm the president.
You know, I remember something from 10 years ago, maybe even longer. Omar Gaddafi of Libya gave a speech that many people called dangerous. But honestly, this Quran speech is even more dangerous than Gaddafi's by far. It might be the craziest speech ever delivered in the United Nations, and it's coming from the President of the United States. It's honestly one of the most embarrassing moments for any thinking American right now. No matter your political affiliation, it's hard to understand how anyone support this. Then Donald Trump goes on to say that climate change is the greatest con job ever. Here, take a look at this clip.
They said global warming will kill the world, but then it started getting cooler. So now they could just call it climate change because that way they can't miss. It's climate change. Because if it goes higher or lower, whatever the hell happens, there's climate change. It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion. Climate change, no matter what happens, you're involved in that. No more global warming, no more global cooling. All of these predictions made by the United Nations and many others, often for bad reasons, were wrong. They were made by stupid people that have cost their countries fortunes and given those same countries no chance for success. If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail.
Then Donald Trump claims there's all this garbage coming in from Asia. Let's watch this clip.
Same thing with garbage. In Asia, they dump much of their garbage right into the ocean. And over about a 1 week and 2 week journey, it flows right past Los Angeles. You've seen it. Massive amounts of garbage, almost too much to do anything about, flowing past Los Angeles, past San Francisco. And then somebody will get in trouble because he dropped a cigarette on the beach.
He criticized wind energy. Let's play the clip.
Energy is another area where the United States is now thriving like never before. We're getting rid of the falsely named renewables. By the way, they're a joke. They don't work. They're too expensive. They're not strong enough to fire up the plants that you need to make your country great. The wind doesn't blow. Those big windmills are so pathetic and so bad, so expensive to operate. And they have to be rebuilt all the time, and they start to rust and rot. Most expensive energy ever conceived, and it's actually energy. You're supposed to make money with energy, not lose money. You lose money, the governments have to subsidize. You can't put them out without massive subsidies.
Then he launches into a bizarre rant that reminded me of yesterday when he was advising people not to take Teleprompter while sharing his thoughts on hepatitis B. In this clip, Donald Trump claims that Europe loses more than 150,000 people each year to heat-related death. Let's watch it.
A year from now. But they've come way down over the last year. As a result, every air conditioner is like very uncommon to see one in some of these countries because the electric costs are so high. So while the U.S. has approximately 1,300 heat-related deaths annually, it's a lot, Europe loses more than 175,000 people to heat deaths each year because the costs are so expensive you can't turn on an air conditioner. What is that all about? That's not Europe. That's not the Europe that I love and know. All in the name of pretending to stop the global warming hoax.
Then Donald Trump concludes by saying that proud nation must be allowed to protect their communities and preserve their societies. His message emphasizes that proud nation need to guard themselves against different customs, religions, and the influencers. Let's watch the clip.
What makes the world so beautiful is that each country is unique. But to stay this way, every sovereign nation must have the right to control their own borders. You have the right to control your borders, as we do now, and to limit the sheer numbers of migrants entering their countries and paid for by the people of that nation that were there and that built that particular nation at the time. They put their blood, sweat, tears, money into that country, and now they're being ruined. Proud nations must be allowed to protect their communities and prevent their societies from being overwhelmed by people they have never seen before with different customs, religions, with different everything. Where migrants.
Wow, that's the message the United States is sending to the world. Proud countries must protect themselves from other customs, religions, and various influences. Afterward, Donald Trump posted, "It was a great honor to speak before the United Nations. I believe the speech was well received. I focus a lot on energy and immigration, topics I have been discussing for a long time. And this forum was a perfect platform to make those important points. I hope everyone gets a chance to watch it." The teleprompter was broken and the escalator suddenly stopped while I was riding up to the podium. But those moments probably made the speech more interesting than it would have been otherwise. It's always an honor to address the United Nations. Honestly, it was so strange. Then Fox News steps into spin it. I just show you the clips of what Trump actually said. Now Fox tries to whitewash it, pretending it was a great, normal speech. Watch as Harris Butler acts like this was a courteous and a heroic address. This is how they brainwash their audience. Here, play this clip.
President Trump has been speaking at the United Nations General Assembly in New York City. He unfurled raw truth to countries in attendance there and to the rest of the world. And moments from now, the president is set to hold a meeting with the UN Secretary General. And that meeting will follow that long speech that put quite the spotlight on the different world order we are living in now. He even called the former President Joe Biden by name, comparing where the world was under Biden and while Biden was leading the United States and where we are now. The president talked in detail about his own foreign policy victories, the successful containment of illegal immigration into the United States. And he had a warning, too, for other countries with all those open borders. And, of course, he talked about the ongoing wars with Israel versus Hamas and Ukraine versus Russia. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus.
So, you have seen this speech and how Fox portrayed it. That's why I am showing you the evidence.